of his own teammates. Baseball thinks the NBA and the NFL get far more publicity. You don't understand our league. And it's like there's a little military feel to it, a Greek system, a hazing that is part of Major League Baseball. If you come in as a hot shot, and the WNBA has for years lamented their second-class travel. Nobody pays attention to us. So even though Caitlin Clark is the reason they've upgraded travel and the reason they're getting attention, it is very predictable that they're a bit insular and provincial, and they're saying, prove it. You're getting all this publicity. Prove it. We have a real league. We were fine without you, even though, truthfully, they haven't made any money. The WNBA hasn't. Chris Broussard is joining us. So J-Max on one side, he doesn't like the flagrant foul. And I understand the arguments that, listen, it's the old golden goose. She's providing all this attention. You're going to get a better TV contract. But I'm saying the NBA had 130 flagrant fouls this year. The WNBA last year had exactly half of that in half the games. So flagrant fouls are part of the sport, men's and women's. And I think women's basketball, if you didn't watch the WNBA, it's been a chippy league. It's not as vertical as men's basketball. You don't jump over other players. It gets very physical. Brew, what side are you on? What do you make of this current controversy that I don't think is a controversy? It's just new kid on the block. They want to make her prove it.
Yeah, I don't think this one should be controversial. There's been a lot of controversy with her, most notably the last time they played the Chicago Sky. But this time, look, I'm fine with them calling it a flagrant because the contact, obviously, she smacked her upside the head, all right? And if you see that in the NBA game, it probably is called a flagrant one. Now, with everybody worried about concussions, I understand that. But when I look at the letter of their law, their rule book that just says if contact is unnecessary, then it's a flagrant. That was a basketball play.
Yeah.
Like, I watched that from various angles, and Angel Reese, to me, looked like she was trying to block the shot. Like her eyes were not on Clark. Once Clark started shooting, they were on the ball. So if she was looking at Clark and she purposely hit her like that, that'd be flagrant. But I thought she was actually really going for the ball. She did wind up, but she wound up looking for the ball and I think just hit Caitlin. So it could have just been a regular foul. It was a hard foul, but I don't know that it needed to be called a flagrant. But the controversy, I don't think needs to be there. Every time Clark gets fouled or fouled hard, it doesn't have to be a controversy, right? And that's what we're dealing with right now.
For the record, Diana Taurasi got a flagrant last year. It's not just the villains. I do think Angel Reese has had a very good rookie season. Now, she's a different player than Caitlin Clark, but she's a rebounder and a shot blocker. I think she's leaning into the villain. Because historically, Rodman, Draymond Green, there's a place in every movie for conflict. I think she's leaning into it. I'm okay with that. Does it feel like it's her style, or she's kind of like, this is my moment, I'm going to lean into it?
I do think she's leaning into it. There's no question. Like she said, it's, the game between LSU and Iowa a couple years ago is what sparked, the huge popularity in college basketball for women. And now the WNBA. So she doesn't want to be forgotten.
Yeah.
She wants to be a part of this. It's not just Caitlin.
Right.
It's me and Caitlin. Like, I'm Magic, she's Bird.
Sure.
Or reverse it if you want.
Yeah.
But whatever the case, I think that's how she's looking at it. Look, Caitlin, as you said, Caitlin is the reason that, you look at Caitlin Clark's games, her attendance is over 15,000 for all her games, home or away. The other teams average a little over 7,000. So the TV ratings are up. All her games are skyrocketed in the ratings, relatively speaking. It's Caitlin Clark. Maybe a little Angel Reese playing the villain role, I think, plays into it. When she said I don't know if it was yesterday or she said after the game, you're going to play this 20 times before Monday, right? To me, she's playing into it. And I think it's fine because it could work for her in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
It does help the league. Colin, even though a lot of commentators want to complain, you're not talking about basketball. You're just talking about Caitlin and race and gender and this and that. It's still good for the league.
Yeah.
Enjoy it and reap the fruits. I mean, that's what they should do.
No, I think it's great. I mean, I've never talked this much WNBA in my life, and I think it's
right,
and I also said we have to be honest about this, is that a lot of people never watch the WNBA. They parachute in, and now they're outraged. And I'm like, I don't care if it's politics or sports. If you didn't care about something 6 months ago, don't tell me it's keeping you awake at night now. And I do think, you know what I mean? Like, it's give me a break. But I will say this, is that we do have examples of this. I mean, I don't care if you're a junior senator. I don't care if you're Bryce Harper. A lot of people are saying it's a racial issue, and I'm sure there's a component. I think it's a lot of things converging at the same time. But do you remember Bryce Harper? I mean, Bryce Harper got into fight. I mean, they were throwing at him for 3 years. People have forgotten that this is sort of the way sports works. Like a lot of times, I don't remember LeBron's rookie year, but it's kind of the way sports works, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Like LeBron's rookie year, you had Ricky Davis saying it's my team. You know, like you had Darius Miles talking about the young, he's coming in, but it's our team. And LeBron played into it like, hey, yeah, it is their team. You know, he was smart. That's how he was. But obviously you go back to Michael Jordan, and I will say allegedly, Colin, because Isaiah Thomas is a friend of mine, and he denies this. But we remember the freeze out in the All-Star game for Michael Jordan.
Yes.
When he was a rookie. And this is what happens when you have a hot shot. Remember with Lonzo Ball. Now, everybody didn't do it, but Patrick Beverley tortured him his first game, picking him up full court. He said, this is because of his dad. You know, when somebody comes in with a lot of noise and hoopla and hype, whether it's them or the media or the public, some players are going to go after you and try to make you prove you're that good. And I'm like you, I am fine with it with the WNBA. Now, racially, I do think there have been things. I think the Chicago Tribune's recent column editorial, I think that was racist. I think Iowa being invited to the White House when they didn't win the championship was racism. But as a runner-up, but some of this is not that. The WNBA has had white American stars. You mentioned Diana Taurasi and obviously Breonna Stewart,
Sue
and
Bird,
and Sabrina Ionesco. You can go on, and none of them got the attention or captured the public's imagination like Caitlin Clark. It is her style of play that she was shooting logo threes, that she's a great passer who has that, that kind of sixth sense that a Jason Kidd or Magic Johnson had when they could see things others couldn't. It's her style of play. And she went to a program where she was the star and put up huge numbers. She wouldn't have done that probably at UConn or somewhere else where they have more talent. But that's why I think it is. I don't think it's because of race. Well, of course, some people are glad to see, a white player dominating a black sport. But still, mostly, I think it's just the way she plays.
Yeah.
And it's exciting and fun to watch.
Yeah, she's got like NBA range. All right, let's pivot to this. I think the Celtics are a mature team. They got burned a couple finals ago when they had a lead, came home, and were flat. I think they take care of business tonight, and I think they go down as one of the most dominating one-season teams ever. I don't consider them a dynastic team going forward. Maybe they are. But I do think if they win tonight, and they're a mature team, it's Holiday, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis. They're not kids that are high and low. I know what I'm getting for effort tonight. They'll play well. What if they beat the Mavs? They have flown through the finals and the playoffs. What do we make of them? Are they?
That's a great question. Yeah,
I don't know.
And there's a lot of talk about that now. Are they an all-time great team? You mentioned one-offs, kind of one-year champions.
Yeah.
I think there are two. There's one for sure, maybe two that won only one championship and are considered like all-time great teams. The 83 76ers with Moses Malone and Dr. J, right?
Yep.
And then the 72 Lakers with Wilt, Jerry West, and Gail Goodrich. And they won 33 straight games that year. But those two teams had living legends. Like at that point, Dr. J was a living legend.
Yeah.
Had won an MVP, 3 if you count the ABA. Moses